Judicial Watch has uncovered very concerning documents about what's going on here in the United States. You know, we all talk about what happened in the Wuhan lab, right? And all the concerns about gain-of-function research and other types of dangerous research in China. And then there were debates about what was going on in Ukraine. Well, you know, Judicial Watch has uncovered very concerning documents about what's going on here in the United States. We talked about biolab safety documents that we had gotten that show that there was dangerous activity or accidents taking place in biolabs here in the United States that could put the public potentially at risk and people in the labs at risk at least. We've just uncovered now dozens of records of illegal molecular research reported to NIH. And what do I mean by molecular research? It means cases involving, research involving recombinant or synthetic nucleic acid molecules that were conducted here in the United States without proper approval and in violation of National Institutes of Health guidelines. Again, this isn't going on in Wuhan, this isn't going on in Ukraine, this isn't going on in Russia, this is going on in a place probably near your home. Recombinant or synthetic nucleic acid molecules are constructed outside of living cells. The molecules are made by joining DNA or RNA segments, natural or synthetic, to DNA or RNA segments, molecules that can replicate within a living cell. They may also result from replication of previously constructed molecules. So, you know, they can rate them at they create some of these out of whole cloth, more or less, and then obviously they can follow up with more research beyond that. Now, NIH guidelines detail safety practices and containment procedures for basic and clinical research involving this type of research, including the creation and use of organisms and viruses containing a recombinant or synthetic nucleic acid molecules. And this obviously covers gain-of-function research. And these guidelines require that any significant problems, violations, or any significant research-related accidents or illnesses be reported to NIH within 30 days. The documents, in addition to highlighting that some of this was done without proper authorization, also show that the research led to dozens of dangerous mishaps, accidents, and spills at these biosafety labs. Now, the Wuhan Institute was, for instance, a bio-level lab that was at a safety level at 4. These labs are doing similarly dangerous research, but their biosafety levels are 1, 2, and 3. So they're not as safe, though doing similarly dangerous research. So we filed a FOIA request asking NIH for these records. You know, we're smart. We know what to ask for. We've got experts who know what they're doing on staff. Nearly 100 incidents were reported to NIH through their email system. For instance, in an email on February 12, 2020, a biosafety officer at the University of Nebraska reports an incident that began in March 2018 in which Dr. Shihua Zhang created an HIV is the virus that causes AIDS, pseudovirus containing Marburg glycoprotein M78 in a University Biosafety Level 2 laboratory for which he did not have authorization. The incident was discovered during a pathogen inventory, and Zhang was told to cease any further work. It was determined that Zhang was assisted by student volunteers and that the experiment had continued until enough virons were created to complete the experiments that were testing novel peptide inhibitors of viral entry. The report states that Zhang completed the NIH training guidelines in 2012, 2018, and 2019 on responsibility. So he knew better. He was trained on this, yet he did it anyway. Another email from the chairman of the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in New York, the Big Apple. He reported an incident at his facility where an investigator was conducting unauthorized research constructing recombinant modified vaccine Ankara expressing spike proteins from SARS, COVID-2 in violation of NIH guidelines. So we've got this terrible virus and they're messing with it in violation of the law. Upon discovery, the investigator was ordered to immediately halt the unapproved research. So they had developed the viruses, and according to the investigation, they found that they needed to be destroyed immediately. Another incident at University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. A biosafety level 3 lab incident involved research being bitten by a mouse infected with SARS, COVID-2-2AA. I guess it's a variant. The incident occurred on April 21st, 2020. That led to a 14-day quarantine. So it shows you that there's danger in just working on this stuff. And you could have these accidents that happen where no one's, quote, is at fault. Maybe there's a safety issue that can be otherwise stopped. But when you mess with this stuff and you're involved in this dangerous research, incidents like this can happen. You're working with living organisms. You've got, in this case, a mouse. They'll bite. You dealt with mice. They're not as pleasant as the cartoons show. They're nasty little things sometimes. Heck, they're sick with SARS, right? So we have incident after incident. Ohio State University, there was an incident. Dr. Sean Liu had conducted unauthorized research in a biosafety level 2 lab developing a pseudo-typed lentivirus, L-E-N-T-I virus, containing the gene encoding, again, for the SARS-CoV protein. Research was in violation of NIH guidelines. New York Medical College in Valhalla, New York. They were submitting false reports back in April 2019 saying certain investigations or experiments were not happening, when in fact they were. So they were lying. They were injecting mice with some dangerous, I'm not going to go through the detail of what they were injecting the mice with, but it looks awful. And once the mice had the adenoviral vectors injected, they had to be quarantined, more or less, in the lab because for 48 hours due to the potential for shedding the virus. What was going on here? Central Florida, another incident. Another incident, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. So this is pretty big stuff. Americans deserve to know just how much illegal research is being conducted in their country without any government oversight whatsoever. So these reports are all after the fact. There's no, I don't know what punishments occurred as a result of this illegal research. These records appear to show that viruses that are potentially worse than COVID-19 are being illegally created in labs in our own country. And again, this is another example of Judicial Watch doing the basic investigative work through FOIA lawsuits that Congress refuses to do, that the media has zero interest in doing because they have a radical agenda on COVID that has nothing to do with making sure that those who potentially are putting American people at risk, whether it be here or in China or anywhere else, are held accountable. So this is dangerous stuff, and we're doing the work that no one else wants to do. I mean, looking at these documents, I can't tell you for sure that COVID didn't originate in the United States. Now, others may suggest that's just bunk, given the way it kind of spread out of China. I don't know, Look, they've been lying to us. They told us we weren't allowed to say anything. Literally, if I were saying anything about COVID being man-made in China, I would have been taken down by the big tech censors. And it turns out there were concerns about that, and it's still an open question. So you can presume, in my view, you should presume the worst, and don't presume that the government is telling you the truth about anything. Not because I think there's a gray, well, I do think there is a conspiracy to protect their own. So more is coming. We have ongoing lawsuits about these types of records. We're investigating what Fauci was up to, all sorts of things we're doing. And again, Judicial Watch is second to none in uncovering the truth about the issues of our age, including the most significant flu or pandemic event in world history. I don't know if it's world history. I guess the Black Plague was a lot worse, which I guess is one of the part of the debate. Maybe it wasn't the biggest event in world history. The whole point is, obviously, it affected billions of people, and we're asking tough questions about vaccines, about COVID policies, about how this virus originated, and about whether or not the American people are still at risk as a result of these arrogant scientists who think they can do anything they want without being checked. All of whom seem to have a friend in Dr. Fauci. So I could go on and on about this, but we're deadly serious about this, you can be sure. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.